Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the product updates for Q4. Let's wait some minutes for everyone to join. While we wait, I will present you a bit this slide. So this April, we are doing an event as every year, Pulse. I think most of you know this event already, but basically it's an event where we will have different technical talks about RatedPower and the industry in general. A lot of professionals from the sector will come, and we will have different panels and presentations. So yeah, I really recommend you to buy the tickets, and we have some discounts available until February, early bird discount. So yeah, use it. Okay, let's wait some minutes. By the way, remember that you can access all our webinars in our website and rewatch the sessions that you may have missed. And yeah. Let's wait 1 minute. Okay, I think we can start. First of all, I'm Bernardino Martin, or Rano Martin, product owner of the generation team at RatedPower, and I will be your speaker today. Okay, this quarter have been full of product updates, so yeah, we will see them today, and I split them here by groups, so it's easier to present them and to understand them. So we have some new features related to the site definition and PRISM. We will see also some BESS or battery energy storage releases, some interconnection releases, some solar photovoltaic releases, and other web app features. Okay. Let's start with the site definition and PRISM. As you may know, we have PRISM available for Europe, and now users are also able to do custom buildable acreage analysis. With this analysis, you can easily create a site that you can later import to RatedPower, and it will help you to identify all the restrictions in your site, like the restricted areas, for example, slope. You can do a slope analysis, check the protected areas, rivers, water bodies, and so on. We will see an example later. Okay. We expanded also our database, and now we have new exclusion layers for France and Germany. There you can see the different sources that we're using. And also now you can access these exclusion layers directly inside RatedPower for Spain and France, okay? In our site creation tool. You will see also that later. And we did some cut import tools improvements. So now you can import AutoCAD files faster by selecting different layers at the same time, multi-assigning them to different polygon types, for example. You have also the toolbox to convert polygons to lines or vice versa. And you can also use the merge tool. Yeah, okay. Then we will see later the best releases. Let's jump to the software to see the tools that I was talking about. So this is PRISM. Here you can see the PRISM for Europe, and you can see that we are available in Spain, France, Italy, Germany, and the UK. Here in this software, you can check the different substations and parcels, but also exclusion layers. For example, for Germany here, you can see the different exclusion layers that we have. And yeah, you can run different analysis I did one here for France. So in this case, I looked for substations with more than 20 megawatts capacity, and I filter also parcels around this area, and I found this group of parcels that I really liked. So I created a polygon as my area of interest, and I ran the CVA model. In the CVA model, you can set different parameters, different exclusion layers that you want to consider, and the different setbacks that you want to set. After running this model, you can send it. You can send this file to RatedPower by going to the site creation tool. You can open the shared CVA outputs and look for the file that you just created. So in this case, this one of Q4. Here you can see the different available areas and restricted areas. They are already sorted by different restricted area types. And yeah, you can just finish the definition of the site by creating the access point, the substation, and so on, and just running the simulation, okay? As we are here, I will show you also the PRISM layers that we have available for France. Here you can check the parcels, okay? We can see the different parcels. You can also check the agricultural parcels to find the best places to do agrivoltaics, for example, okay? And you also have some exclusion layers that you can enable and see them directly here in RatedPower. Let me go to other area with more exclusion layers. For example, here maybe. Okay, I'm not sure where I can find some exclusion layers, but let me zoom to this area, for example. Or maybe I have to go more to the east or to the west, I'm not sure. Okay, now I found a protected area here, a big one. Yeah, so if you want to do a prospection and filter more by layers and everything, is better to use PRISM. In RatedPower, you can find the final polygons to do some small analysis. Like for example, here you can find this is a water body or whatever. But yeah, it's much better if you use directly PRISM to do your CVA analysis and then you import it here. But yeah, you have also the information available here. Okay. Yeah, I think I show you everything about the imports, the site tools. Let's go with BESS. So now with when designing BESS systems in RatedPower, you can define several battery areas at the same time. We were limited to one before. Now you don't have that limit, and also you can add restrictions to those battery areas. Okay, this applies for both for hybrid and standalone BESS. Okay. Let's go back to the software to see this tool. So I created already here some designs where I'm mixing battery areas and solar photovoltaics. In this case, I ran a project with a really big battery system compared to the PV, but it's just for the example, okay? And you can see here that we are using restricted areas and battery areas, different battery areas, okay? So we have two battery areas and restricted areas inside the battery area. You can set also here some different setbacks for each restricted area type, okay? And also different strategies if you want to defense to cross directly the restricted area. Also, in this case, we are not using roads, but if you, yeah, we're using roads, and you can choose also the road strategy here, okay? And the cable strategy. This is, by the way, this cabling strategy is a new feature also we'll see later for PV. Okay, going back to the presentation, we also released some interconnection features. This one is related to battery energy storage. So now you can run an interconnection analysis with RatedPower for BESS systems. This was limited to photovoltaics before, and now you can also run design your substation or switch and breaking station for BESS. You just need to go to the grid point tab, define your site first with the substation or switching and breaking station, define your transmission line, and yeah, run a simulation. We will provide you some new documentation for the substation of that project. And also now, if you are using several substations for the same site, and with different polygons, also available areas and everything, you can use the custom distribution option. So basically, this is a manual capacity distribution where you can define from the whole capacity of the project the amount of power that is connected to every substation. Okay, so now it's much more flexible. We used to have some automatic distribution strategies, but this one that is a custom one is new. So now you can better define how you evacuate the power of your project. And also regarding to interconnection, now we have a new unit in the CAPEX tool for the high voltage and the ground lines that we released them earlier last year, if I'm not wrong, in Q3 or Q2. So, but we didn't release the CAPEX unit. So now you can assign a specific cost to that meter of cable for every cable type for the high voltage line, so you can better evaluate the cost of your project. Now going to solar photovoltaics, we did some big improvements to our low voltage and medium voltage grouping algorithm. So as here you can see a picture with the differences. We reduced a lot the cabling, basically the cable lines. So now the power stations are also more centered to the group. The stream boxes or string inverters are better placed also, and the low voltage groups are done better now. We provide a new layer now in the layout that we generate, the general layout, where you can check the low voltage groups also. Okay, this is something new that we were doing before but not providing to the users, and now we provide this output so you can check better those groups. And also, as I showed you before in software, we have a new medium voltage cable strategy, so you can decide if the cables can cross or not the restricted areas, and you can assign a different strategy for different restricted areas. Okay, so then going to the layout editor, we enabled an option where you can check the background image. So this is interesting to understand better the layout, and also if you want to do some additions based on the satellite image, you can do it too. For example, if you want to replicate a way, a road, or if you want to delete some structures because they are over some trees. If you didn't create the shortcuts for restricted areas before in the site creation tool, you can now see it also here in the layout editor. And regarding roads, we have some validations now. So if some roads doesn't comply with your requirements, they will appear in red or yellow. For example, if a road is crossing a restricted area, will appear in yellow. If a road is outside the available area, will appear in red. The red are blockers, so basically you cannot run the simulation if you have some blockers, and the yellow are warnings that you can run the simulation anyways. And last but not least, for photovoltaics, we have the 3D energy tool. This is a new tool that we released this year. We've been working in this tool for a long time, and we are really happy because now users can run simulations in 3D. We use ray tracing technology to calculate the front and back phase irradiance. We also have a really detailed electrical model to calculate the production of every PV module, and we consider everything, the diodes and everything inside the module. We have different tracking algorithms like backtracking, flat backtracking, or true tracking algorithm. I will show you them later. And we also have a result page in 3D where you can check all the results. We have more than 30 KPIs to analyze. These KPIs are based on the module level, string level, or structure level. And we also have some shading animation for fixed tilt simulations. And we're generating new documents like a 3D energy report, some energy results, and you can also download some CAD and 3D models. Okay, let's jump to RatedPower again to see these results. Okay, first I will show you how you can launch the simulation. So here is the normal parametric design, as you know, and you have this 3D energy button clear here to click and run simulations. Every 3D simulation will run first a 2D simulation, and once this 2D simulation finish, it will create the 3D one. Okay, here you can see the differences. You can also launch simulations from the layout editor. So if you are editing this layout, sorry, if I'm editing this layout, for example, from the layout editor, I can run the 3D energy simulation from here. For example, if I want to move some structures, delete some inverters, or some power stations or whatever, as I showed you before, you can enable the selected image and see here the validation of the roads. Yeah. So yeah, you can validate the elements. And yeah, if once you're ready, you can run the simulation from here. Okay. Here we have the 3D energy result simulation. I will show you now, but first let me also show you how you can choose the backtracking algorithm. So if you are using a tracker, no, and you go to energy, this is the only new input that we have now that is only applied to 3D, where you can choose the tracking algorithm. Okay, if you are using fixed structures, this won't appear because it's not a new input and you're not tracking. All the other inputs are the same one. And let's go now to the result page. Okay. Here you can see the different KPIs that we can analyze. Okay. We have a lot of them based on modules, string, or table, as I mentioned before. Also, you can check the power stations outputs. Here we can see we have a legend with the different colors. Okay, in this case, higher is better. We are checking the effective radiant exposure, and we have an histogram. Is a tool that I really like here is that you can remove the outliers. For example, here in this histogram, we can see that most of the results are around this area because we have really bad structures here that could be deleted. We can delete them later in the layout editor, clicking here and deleting the elements. But if I want to do analysis of the structures, most of the structures, to highlight them better, I can click on remove outliers and the scale of the legend will change. So now we can highlight better other errors. For example, here we can see as an example that the pitch distance could be increased because we can see that the string below or the modules below are a bit red, while here these are greener. So we can differentiate better the positive and negative slopes, let's say. Okay. Also, something really interesting apart from the KPIs that you can see here. For example, let's choose another one, string output power. You can see the output power per string. But apart from this, something that I really like is the shading animation. So you can enable this and see the shadings for every hour of the year. So in this case, we're in the winter solstice, and we can see how the shades, how are the shading in the afternoon here, or in the morning here. That's why we have these red structures there. Okay. And as I mentioned before, we have a lot of documents here that we can download. An energy report. We have the energy results in detail also in an Excel file. And yeah, let me show you here the index. So you can see the simulation inputs, the layout, and the detailed results. Okay. Yeah, this is just an example. I can share with you later all the documentation from this project as an example. And yeah, let's go back to the presentation. We'll show you the last features. So we also release other web app features to improve the user experience of the user. The first one is the CapEx management improvements. So now users can manage better the CapEx templates. We divided the units the the unit drop down into two. Now you can choose the measurement and then the unit. I will show you an example later. You can easily clone or duplicate rows and do redo changes, copy and paste values. If you have an Excel file, for example, you can copy rows and paste them here. So it's faster to work now with the CapEx tool that sometimes is a bit overwhelming. And also something really interesting is that now you can pin and unpin designs. Okay, we used to have the favorite tool before, but the favorite tool was was only for personal access. So if you favorite a design, it will favorite only for you. Now with the pin tool, you can pin it for the whole company. Okay, so everyone can see the last iteration, for example, or the best design. We did some revamp also to the homepage. Now we have a discover section. This section is dynamic, so it will change depending on the user, and you can explore the new features, join webinars, and yeah, have some articles to have a better onboarding and so on. We also have the recent work section. Here you can choose not only you to see your latest design, but you can also choose other users and to see what they are using, they are doing lately. And yeah, we have some flexible filters to filter all the projects and designs. And then we also have a new notification center area. So we used to have it before, but we improved it, and now you can see a flyout with the 5 notifications. You have a counter here with all the notifications that you haven't checked. Yep, and yeah, these are up to different screen sizes. Let's see the capex improvements. So if we go here, for example, I create or I clone an existing capex template, for example, you can see that now we have for example, for power, we can choose between different units here. And as I mentioned before, you can clone rows. You can copy a row and paste it under another one or below another one, below or above other ones. Yeah, you have the undo, redo, you have the paste values. If you copy values from an Excel file, you can click here and then just paste, okay, paste them. Yeah, this is regarding the new CapEx tool. In the home page, we can see this discover section that we were talking about now. You can see the last releases that I'm presenting right now. You have some articles here. You can go directly to Help Center, and you can check here your recent work and one of your mates. Okay, that's yeah, that's it. Mainly here you can see the notifications. I didn't check them for a long time, so I have 53 here, and you can see the latest one here. I can mark them all of them as read, and that's it. Okay, that's it. I don't know if you have questions. You can use the question section to leave your questions there. Okay, here I can see that we have a first question. Can we edit the low voltage groups in the layout editor? Okay, I showed you already the layout editor tool before. Let me open it again. Now it's not possible to do the low voltage group, but we are going to release it soon. So you will have an option here to change the view. Here you can see that we are checking the medium voltage groups, but really soon, hopefully next week, you will be able also to open the low voltage groups and check them and edit the inverter position, combiner box positions, and so on. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we We have more questions. Okay, here we have another one. Is it possible to launch simulations with thin film modules in 3D energy? Good question. This is also a new release. So we first released the tool without the thin film feature, but now you can also launch simulations using thin film, and that's why we also launch the true tracking algorithm, because it's really common with thin film modules. And now, yeah, you can easily choose thin film module. For example, if we look for first solar here, and you can choose a tracker for the algorithm, and then, as if I'm not wrong, by default we will have here yeah, the true tracking algorithm, and you just can run the 3D energy simulation. As I mentioned before, for every 3D simulation, we have a 2D one that is launched before, and once this one is finished, the other one will appear. Okay. I see that someone is raising their hand here. If you have a question, please leave it in the chat, and I will answer it. Thank you. Okay, the simulation failed. I'm not sure why. This is not common, but yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, let's go back to the 3D outputs. Okay, if I don't, if I'm not, yeah, I can, I see that no one is asking more questions, so I think we can finish here. Thank you everyone for joining, and that's it. See you. Bye.